Hi guys. I recently got a comment saying that someone enjoyed looking at the countryside and they enjoyed what I had to say, but not looking at me, my big ugly mug. I actually have tried making videos before where I'm not, my face is not featured in the camera. It's just weird. So sorry I stuck with this big ugly mush. Don't worry, I know I'm not a looker. I thought that was funny. Glad you like the content though, and I'll post more countryside pictures for sure and videos. Yeah, see, look, that was funny. You know, I'm not offended by that. I know I'm not a looker. Don't worry. 1 second, please. What I want to talk about, so made a video and when I was making my vintage team, my retro team, anybody want to let me know your thoughts on that? I'd love to get your selections. The golden oldies, as we call them. But I was going to do an individual assessment of each Irish province. No, there's not enough to do that. It was quite poor. Donegal O'Callaghan doesn't pull any punches, and he certainly didn't with that Munster game. He said it was the worst game of rugby he'd ever watched, full stop. In that first half last night against the Clonettley Scarlets, and it was pretty dreadful. But I was there thinking to myself, Donegal, you clearly didn't see the Leinster Ospreys game. Not much to say on that really, but we'll start there. Like, you can't help but be more critical on Leinster because they always say how brilliant their academy system is. They're top of the URC, like, in fairness they are, but the only players I could really say had good games were Jack Boyle, who was excellent, who was fucking brilliant in the scrum. I'm surprised he didn't get a penalty every scrum. He dominated Tom Bota, who is only said to be in the Ospreys team for scrummaging. Jack Boyle proved otherwise. Rabah Slimani was excellent. And I have to admit, we were all sceptical, aren't we? Always thought Rabah Slimani was an excellent player, but very, scrum orientated and set piece type of tight head prop. But he got a try, fair play to him, and he gets around the field very well. If I was Fabien Galtier, I would put Rabah Slimani in. I think he gives you more than Georges-Henri Coulombe does. And Wayne Antonio cannot do the big minutes. He never really could, but he definitely can't now. You kind of knew what you were getting with Wayne Antonio, but Rabah Slimani's playing 60 minutes and he's doing well in those 60 minutes. While I want Ireland to win, I also want to see the best players on the pitch. Rabah wouldn't even have to go back to France. He could stay in Dublin for the game. Because Georges-Henri Coulombe is a weakness in the scrum. He just gets driven back every time he stands up. Good in the loose play, but you think to yourself, a tight head has to be good in the scrum. They're the anchor of the scrum. And Finn Baxter is not the biggest, strongest loose head prop I've ever seen. And he folded, or should say, stood up Georges-Henri Coulombe every time. So, not good enough. Every time I've seen him in the scrum, no matter who he's up against, he gets beaten. So, France would seriously want to consider Rabah Slimani, I think. Come on. I think Rabah Slimani is doing exceptionally well. Great boy for Leinster. So Jack Boyle, Rabah Slimani, the two props in fairness are very good for Leinster. Jack Boyle certainly is showing why he's in the Ireland squad. Disappointing not to see Michael Milne in the Munster squad, I have to say. Lee Barron was on the bench, but Kieran Ryan, I guess, he's in there. And Josh Wycherley came back and had a very good game. But back to Leinster, not getting sidetracked. Charlie Tector is a very good player, very good. Impressed with him. Felt like Jamie Osborne didn't have his best game. And the O'Briens, like Tommy and Jimmy, very good players. Need to see more from them. Luke McGrath, to be fair, had a good game. Got a try, you know. But Ospreys were not impressive. People are saying they were, you know. Harry Deves, menace, wasn't he? Him and Tipperick were involved in a lot of off-the-ball stuff. Feel a lot of whinging and complaining to the ref. They wanted to focus on their rugby. Welsh rugby's in a bad enough spot. I feel like that scoreline, not only did it flatter the Ospreys, but they could have won. That would have been Leinster losing that game, not Ospreys winning. Like, no disrespect to the Ospreys, but they are not great opposition. Even with the C team for Leinster, they should be wiping the floor with that side. And in fairness to the foreign players, they stepped up. When Snyman came on, he set up the try for Slimani. Two foreign players combining. They don't get that try, Leinster don't win that game. Feels like Ireland and Leinster, we love having a disappointing game, barely scraping by and then getting a 22-19 victory. Ireland beat Argentina and Australia 22-19, and Leinster beat Ospreys 22-19. It seems to be a favourite fixture and a favourite result of ours. So Charlie Tector, Luke McGrath, Jack Boyle, Robert Slimani were very good. 4 players. The rest upped their game big time. And like, that's because we know that they're good players. Scott Penny, what has happened to him? He was so good. I was even shouting for him to be in the Ireland squad. Didn't even remember that he was on the pitch until I checked the game afterwards. Max Deegan, lots of potential, you know. They're all good enough. Of course they are. They wouldn't be in the Leinster team if they weren't good enough, but Donegal O'Callaghan said something about the Munster game, and I feel like he should have watched the Leinster match. He would have had a field day with them, especially being, I wouldn't say anti-Leinster, you know, I would say pro-Munster more so, which does have anti-Leinster traits, of course. But the lack of desire, you know, he said, you could watch a schoolboy game and it would have had more desire. And you'd be there like, yeah, absolutely. You could watch a senior cup match and they'd have more desire and more fire in the belly. Like, these lads could still be selected for Ireland if they play well enough, you know. Kieran Frawley, I feel, let himself down big time. He had a terrible game. And he's someone who I thought deserved to be the fly half. I felt like at one stage he should have been in ahead of both Crowley and Prendergast. Felt he was very harshly traded and should have been given more games at 10. But he was given an opportunity at 10 and he didn't take it. That was a big opportunity for him to go, I'm still here, don't forget about me, I'm still good enough. Which I think he is, but he didn't prove it on Friday, you know. I get the nerves are there. He's probably lost a good bit of confidence with being dropped after that New Zealand game, but that was a poor Ospreys team and he could have, you know, orchestrated the whole thing. He threw so many forward passes and I feel like he missed out on a big opportunity, you know. He's got to take them. Like, I understand it's difficult at that level. Of course it is. But that was a poor side you were playing. Welsh rugby is not in a great place. That was an opportunity that he missed out on. I feel like a lot of Leinster players let themselves down. They weren't good enough, and just so happened that Ospreys were even less good enough. I just think back to when it was the Magners League and you had Ryan Jones, James Hook, Gavin Henson, Shane Williams, like all the great Welsh players. The old Ospreys team would have absolutely wiped the floor with that Leinster performance. So, shows you how bad Welsh rugby is at the minute. Morgan Morris for me was a player I was looking at thinking he should be in the Welsh team. He wasn't great either. Like, I feel Harry Deves being a nuisance that he is. Maybe it's the way to go. I know it's Mike Skrellet, isn't it? The Cardiff coach. Skrellet's his second name anyway. I think it's Mike is his first, but he's going to be the interim coach, and then he's back with Cardiff after the Six Nations. I don't think he's staying on. But he's brought in Jared Evans and not Johan Lloyd. And I was thinking, bring in Johan Lloyd, Max Llewellyn. Max Llewellyn's coming in, so could be an interesting game when Ireland take on Wales in Cardiff. I feel like Wales have a bit of a free shot now to kind of just do what they want. Things could not get any worse, put it that way. When you've hit rock bottom, the only way is up, as they say. But yeah, very poor from Leinster, and 4 players that were decent. They weren't even excellent, although Boyle and Slimani scrummaging, and for me, Slimani has had a few man of the match performances. I feel like that one was definitely warranting of a man of the match. But very, very, very poor. All these players in the team are good players, they just didn't step up. The second rows, Dermot Mangan and Brian Deaney, didn't do enough. They need to be better than that. As I say, I'm not saying any of these players are bad, I'm saying they're all good. They all have to be. You don't get into Leinster without being really good. But there was no fire in the belly. I always say with Irish rugby, there's talent, there's abundance of talent, but the desire just doesn't seem to be there. The Munster game, second half, definitely more desire, a lot better. They obviously heard Donica's words. I feel like Ian Costello's done a great job with them there. I would like to see Mike Prendergast take over as the head coach. I think he knows so much about rugby. He's been to France and coached at the top level. I think it was Claremont he was at. And he was with La Rochelle with Ronan O'Gara, if I'm not mistaken. Very, very good rugby brain. Munster man, the passion will be there. Dennis Levy, big tough Tipperary man. Definitely keep him involved. And I mean, I think Ian Costello's done a really good job, Like, yeah, poor first half. I think Munster were unlucky to have that try disallowed. I didn't see a clear knock on. And then Scarlett's got awarded a try that was clearly held up by Paddy Patterson. Like they said, try on-field decision is try. For the Munster try, for me, I couldn't see a clear knock on. Maybe I'm just being biased, but I didn't see one. They said it was peeling off around the side, then they said it was a knock on. What is it, You could make a case that the truck and trailer thing, you can argue that, and I would have said that's a fair argument, but they called a knock on, which I didn't think was obvious. And if on-field decision is try, you stick with it, And the conversion had been taken. Now I know the TMO could still come in, but the rule used to be if you'd taken the conversion, that's it, it's done. In fairness to Billy Burns, his kicking was much better last night, much better. Fair play to him, he stepped up and he looked good, I have to say, he looked very good. Young, I want to get this right, I pronounce it Coughlin, but I know in Munster it can be, in Cork is it Colin? Who's Colin? Coughlin. Some places it's Coughlin, most places it's Coughlin, and other places it's Colin. Who's Colin, you say? Young Colin. He was good, he was very good. Shane Daly had a good game. And Munster were much better in the second half, really were. But just again, a shout out to the players who always make a difference and always keep making a difference every game. Gavin Coombs, man of the match again. Turnovers, 2 tries, an assist. Great carrying, got over the game line every time he carried, without fail. He was immense. And not only that, there were a few very poor passes to him, which I thought, he's going to knock it on. He got it, and then gave a great pass out the back and sucked in like 3 defenders. Every time he plays, he's outstanding. Like, he's been much more consistent and much better than Ryan Baird. Peter O'Mahony's getting way past his best now. Cannot see why Gavin Coombs isn't given a chance. He's excellent, he always is. Alex Candellin was great, got a try as well, a deserved try. Glad he got that. He was so good. Tom Ahern was good while he was on and should have had that try. Thought it was very unfair that was chalked off. Tom Farrell, one of his more quiet games, and yet he still had a good game. Got a try at the end, deservedly so. A few Munster players definitely have a lot more fire in the belly than Leinster players, and that's what I see with them, a lot more fire in the belly. Ben O'Connor looks like a good talent as well. A few glimpses of him. Didn't think he had a perfect performance, but give him a 7 out of 10. He was quite good when he was on, and he'll only continue to get better. Paddy Patterson was very good when he came on. Shane McCarthy was excellent when he came on. Shane McCarthy's a player I've been excited by, and definite future prospect, I think. You know, but Gavin Coombs, like, what are they not seeing that we're all seeing? One bad game against the Maori All Blacks and you're out. Like, I don't think that's fair at all. That's definitely not justification for taking such a good player out of an Ireland team. A majority Leinster Ireland team. Like, it's daunting when you go into any team. Not played at his level, of course I haven't, but just want to show you the beautiful countryside to get a break from my ugly face. Oh, look, I love that. And someone who's a bit better looking. Alfie pals. To me. But I remember before being on representative teams, would have been more so rugby league. But when all the other lads are from one team and they're very cliquey with each other, which in Ireland we are, I can imagine it's very daunting going into a team where it's all Leinster lads who know each other and you're trying to break in. You don't know the game plan. You have to change the way you work. So with Munster, I'd say it's a lot more free-flowing. With Leinster, it's a lot more, this is the move we're doing. The old Leinster loop, lads, let's get it. We're doing the same shit again and again. You know, tried and tested. Come on, Alf, good boy. Let's go. Good boy. We're doing the same bollocks we always do. It's predictable. Everyone knows it, but we're still going to go with it. It's very much a pre-planned move, whereas Munster play a lot more heads-up rugby, which I like. Good win, 29-8, bonus point. They were only a point ahead of Scarlets before that, so that's a real statement win. As I say, without Coombs, Kindellan, Ahern and Tom Farrell, they don't win that game. And I mean, that's a fact, because those players got 4 tries. So, you know, wouldn't have won without them. They need them. And not only did Coombs get turnovers, score 2 tries, big tackles and gain line success, he went from number 8 to second row effortlessly. You know, like, he slotted in and they start winning scrums. He can do everything. You know, Darius couldn't do that. You know, neither could Van der Fleer. Coombs can do so much more than all these lads, but they're not even giving him a look in. I just think it's very unfair. John hadn't it when he came off the bench. Stop. And then the Connacht game. Like, Connacht were good in lots of parts, but Harley Langton obviously winning man of the match. But 19 points up, and they nearly blow it at the end. You know, bonus point win, you think great, but that game should have been dead and buried. Josh Ioane missed far too many kicks, and like, it was windy, but you saw Colm Sheedy for Cardiff measure his kick to perfection and use the wind, you know, to curl it back in. Terrible game management. Like, Leinster had 20 seconds left, I think, and they give a turnover to the Ospreys, who then kicked the ball, missed touch, and gave Leinster such an easy exit, you know. Tipperick got a good turnover at the end, and that's a team of Irish rugby is just poor at closing out games. Really bad game management. You know, Munster didn't take a lot of their opportunities, but they upped it in the second half, which is what got them over the line. Leinster were woeful. It was tit for tat, you know. We scored, but then we let Ospreys score, and then we should have got the bonus point win, but we didn't. But who cares, because we're top of the table, right? So we get a free pass. Not good enough at all. And then to give a turnover when there's less than 30 seconds to go is unacceptable. Like, they talk about all these systems and structures, but that's terrible game management. It's woeful. You just one-up carries, slow the clock down, and you're done. Kick the ball off the field, that's it, done. You slow every ruck down until the ref tells you to use it. They could have lost that game. Like, that was a kick to the corner. If that had gone out and Osprey's maul and get a try, don't even have to convert it, they've won the game. And against a very poor Ospreys team, Leinster only won by 3 points. Very bad game management. And then Connacht blew a 19-point lead in a game where they were absolutely dominant. Ben Murphy was excellent, very good. Josh Ioane, not so much. He had a poor game. Mullins on the left wing looked good. Shane Bolton had moments, but strong winger though, big physical fella. I like the look of him. Shane Jennings and Hugh Davin, isn't it? Yeah, good players. Seamus Harley-Langton had a very good game. Sean Johnson off the bench looked strong, very strong. Front row for Connacht isn't great now. It's not very exciting, I'll be honest. But screw it, you know, they got the job done. Oisin Dowling looked good off the bench. For Connacht, it's the back row and then their back line. Not really much else. They don't have the strongest pack. But they've some exciting players, but they should have closed that game out. Cardiff should have been dead and buried. Josh Ioane missing easy kicks, you know. Missed one right in front of the posts that would have taken him to a 22-point lead. And then he missed a conversion. You got to take them. And then Hanrahan missed one when he came on, JJ Hanrahan. You know, you just got to do better. 19-0 up, game should have been gone. And they only won by 5 points, having been drawn level at one stage. And again, to highlight bad game management, the game was literally up. It was 80 minutes and 3 seconds, so the game would have been done if they got it dead. They have a loose carry and they let Cardiff in over the ball for a turnover, and then they had to rely on a Cardiff mistake for the game to be blown up. Cardiff get a converted try, they've won the game again. Like, it's obviously something in Irish rugby because we're very bad at closing out games. We're terrible. You know, our game management is shocking. You saw that with Ireland. 8 seconds left in the first half and they make a stupid carry, give away a penalty, and Scotland score a try, go in at half time, only 12 points down rather than 17. Not good enough. And then it's 32-18 and the game is up. You've got the bonus point win in the bag. Get the ball off the field, for fuck's sake. If Scotland score a try, a converted try, they would have got a losing bonus point. All that adds up at the end. And we let England get a losing bonus point when they should have been dead and buried. A game we should have won by 17 points, we only win by 5. Like, there's something clearly in the Irish psyche where they're not good at closing out games. And it's very poor. They need to get better at it. Ulster had another disappointing loss to Benetton. I think it was 34-18. So well beaten. I didn't think they'd beat Benetton after that woeful display against Zebra. They're having a bad time at the minute. They need to up their game. As they say, not good enough. 3 wins, but when you look at it, you should be winning 4 from 4 and you should be getting over the line much easier. Not a very exciting weekend, I won't lie. Quite boring and poor game management in general. Talent is there, but they need to close out games better. And there's my analysis, guys. Let me know what you thought. And come on, Ireland, let's beat Wales. Let's get the Grand Slam. We can do it.